Moonee Valley, they're at the start for the running of race 7. And Mans Ralph, number 3 at 7.10. Illawong Ian at 3.10. Our first duel for Darryl Douglas at 4.70. And over the page we head to All Action Sun 9.40 and Kimbo at 7.20. Shortly to Dan at Moonee Valley for race number 7. Now Richmond race 8. 31 and 19 the gallop, 8, 2 and 4. Fourth in 5. The first 4. $365. Illawong Ian the favourite at $3 here to be alive in the quaddie 1, 2 and 5 as we head into the all-important final leg of the quadrella. They're moving up behind the mobile. Let's head trackside now to Dan Malecki for his call of race 7.
Close to the start. EB Cochrane Trotters Cup, a Group 3 event. Sterling Kiwi won this race 2 years ago. He's at $12 tonight. They're ready for a start. At the release point now, racing. Mans Ralph began well, galloped, then paced, then galloped again. Coming away pretty quickly out wide on the track. Was our first duel, but hunting through as Illawong Ian's got plenty of early toe. So the favourite leads into the first bend. It's Illawong Ian from our first duel. Sterling Kiwi is down to third on the pegs behind the leader. All Action Sun gets a good run through, and then Sir Gondola. 8 metres away, Mans Ralph, so he broke up, didn't lose a lot of ground. 8 metres away then to I'm 1, 2, and then came Kimbo Rockalina. Second last Action After Dark, and it goes to the pegs. And last is Shaitan as they enter the straight. They're well strung out. There's 50 metres first to last. A bit over 2 circuits to travel, and Illawong Ian the leader. About 5 metres in front. Second is our first duel, and Sterling Kiwi's going to get a lovely run there. Third the pegs. 1-1 is All Action Sun. Alfred did a terrific job to get through into the 1-1. Sir Gondola's fifth on the inside, then Mans Ralph in the running line. 5 metres to I'm 1, 2, and then Action After Dark on the inside of Kimbo. Rockalina's second last, and at the rear was Shaitan. 1,700 metres left to travel, and Brian Gath has Illawong Ian in the lead. 5 metres in front of Sterling Kiwi on the pegs, and our first duel sitting without cover. In fourth position was All Action Sun at the 1,600, and the lead time was 1:12.6, so it's a pretty good run so far. Fifth on the inside, Sir Gondola. Then Mans Ralph, 3 back the outside from I'm 1, 2, Action After Dark, and then came Kimbo, Rockalina, and last is Shaitan. Illawong Ian at the 1,400. Tested again by our first duel at that point. They sprinted up for about 50 metres. Our first duel had a look at Illawong Ian in the eye, and he just quickened up for a short distance. He's a neck in front. It's Illawong Ian from our first duel. Sterling Kiwi and All Action Sun getting the gun runs. Third and fourth respectively at the 1,200. 31.9 the first quarter of the last mile. Sir Gondola's on the inside of Mans Ralph. Then Action After Dark and I'm 1, 2. Kimbo eases out 3 wide, but it's third last, and then Rockalina, and Shaitan is at the rear. Just over a lap left to travel, and the leader is Illawong Ian in the EB Cochrane Trotters Cup, a neck in front of our first duel. Third was Sterling Kiwi, fourth is All Action Sun, and then 3 wide Kimbo moving up around Mans Ralph. Sir Gondola's 3 back the inside, Action After Dark 4 back the inside, Shaitan 3 wide with cover, then I'm 1, 2, and last is Rockalina. 33.6 the second quarter. Leader's got a terrific breather there. Illawong Ian in our first duel at the 700. Only a head separates them. In third position, Sterling Kiwi, who's on the inside of All Action Sun, and Kimbo 3 wide moves up. Then Mans Ralph trying to get out onto its back from Shaitan, who's out wide, just couldn't keep up at that point, 4 deep. And then Sir Gondola, I'm 1, 2, Rockalina, and Action After Dark as they head off the back. They're bunched up now. Illawong Ian and our first duel are together at the 400. Kimbo closing. Third quarter in 30 seconds. And then came All Action Sun, nowhere to go for it. And then Sterling Kiwi, Mans Ralph as they round the turn. Illawong Ian, our first duel, has done it tough, but it's joined Illawong Ian as they turn. Then Kimbo, Mans Ralph let down into the straight. Our first duel, Illawong Ian, Kimbo. Mans Ralph is joining in out wider. Illawong Ian's got a kick. Mans Ralph trying to get it. Illawong Ian, Mans Ralph, Kimbo coming again. Kimbo and Mans Ralph are going to the line locked together, and Kimbo won it by a nose. Kimbo beat Mans Ralph. Third's a photo flashing through was Sir Gondola on the inside, and Rockalina out wider. Illawong Ian got swallowed up with our first duel late, and then Sterling Kiwi, I'm 1, 2, All Action Sun. Action After Dark was finishing fast, but back about midfield, and Shaitan pulled up pretty quickly past the post. 31-1 the final quarter. Good finish to the EB Cochrane Trotters Cup with Kimbo and Mans Ralph, the 2 that were just descending late.
Yeah, great finish. 11 Kimbo for Russell Thompson, ahead of possibly 3 Mans Ralph. 1 Sir Gondola and 10 Rockalina in a terrific finish to the running of race number 7 at Moonee Valley. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runners there with about a half a metre separating 5. Great finish. Now at Geelong, runners are at the boxes for the running of race number 9 of the card there. Ron likes 5 ahead of 6, 8 and 2. 5 ahead of 6, 8, 2. Explosive Storm, Tabasari, our Bobby Boy's favourite at $2.20. Grace of All at $9.70 and Riverdale Maddie, number 2, is at bigger odds that Ron has popped into his selections there for the minor end. In fact, we'll confirm that for you shortly. Actually, it should be 11, 3 and 10, but we'll confirm that shortly. Redcliffe, the dividends, 960 Quinella trifecta, 183.10. We'll confirm those numbers at the Valley for you. Big trifecta. The mile rate was 2.4.7 for Russell Thompson, and the quaddie tonight 1.25 at 11 on Super Tab 100. We've got $14 the hardball get. Valiant Soldier $14. Joe Fess is at $6.40. And we head over the page to the Falcon Strike at $2.20. So 6 to 4 into 5 to 4. $17 for Flashing Red, and Home for Christmas is at $21. Selections from John Hunt, 10, 1, 5 and 4. 10, 1, 5 and 4 for the $100,000 Be Active Australian Pacing Championship. Now, Mandurah race number 5 is due in 10 minutes from now, and we've got Rocket Rocky at 4.40, 4.50 for Phil Keesey, Wind Splitter at 4.10, 6.40 for Complicated, and Slick Bazzer at $8.80. Wind Splitter is favourite in WA at $2.80. So a little bit of overs for the 3 there. Selections from Craig at 2 to beat 3 and 1, and that late mail tip is for number 3, Wind Splitter, and it's the first leg of the quaddie in WA, Mandurah race number 5. Now at Gloucester Park, the Falcon Strike is the rock solid favourite now, 2.20. Tricky Vic 4.40, Joe Fest 6.30. That's the top 3. It's a very good race indeed. Some very good horses engaged here for the Pacing Championship. They're at the start. Still a little bit of time to get a wager on, folks. So let's head to the track for the feature of the night, race 6, and to call the card. And let's head trackside now to John Hunt.
Winning a Celebrity Mile over 17.40, coming out and winning a Fremantle Cup over 2,900 from a stand, and then tonight 21.40 in the Australian Pacing Championship at the Mobile. Next week the WA Pacing Cup at 25.44. It's a tribute to the fact that this horse can just pretty much do anything. And they start to score up. The Falcon Strike still at $2.20, 4.30 Tricky Vic. Great to see Joe Fess here, and Darren Hancock, who won this race with Sovereign Hill in 1997. It's at $6.70, third line of betting. What will Hall Jr. do here? Bailed up on the back of Tricky Vic. They start to accelerate. 21.40. The Australian Pacing Championship is underway. Tricky Vic began well enough to hold the lead. Hall backed off his coattails. Immediately swung away from the inside about midfield. He'll get 3 or 4 behind him early, so he's not going to rail up behind Tricky Vic, but Tricky Vic will lead. The hard ball get pulls him on. Buck the Odds is 3 deep early. Valiant Soldier diving through in the middle. Last year's winner back in a Falcon dropped to the inside. He'll rail up behind Tricky Vic. 2 lengths away to the New South Wales star Joe Fess, and out 3 deep early is Digger of Fortune, and he's going to press forward now. He'll be tracked immediately by the Falcon Strike, who starts to work into the open. Along the inside goes Boy Jones. At the head of the others then, getting well back in the field, was the stablemate of Boy Jones, Flashing Red, the Tasmanian come Queenslander. A little over length then to Home for Christmas, and Chivalrous Fella at the back of the field. Now Buck the Odds attacking Tricky Vic up front. Interesting. Hall backed off with the Falcon Strike, reined him back to about third last, but he's still 3 deep. Buck the Odds got about a neck on Tricky Vic, a length and a half the hard ball get. Valiant Soldier going up in the middle, and 3 deep around them was Digger of Fortune, who's doing it very tough. And then back in a Falcon on the inside of Joe Fess, who's travelling beautifully. At the head of the others, Flashing Red, followed by Boy Jones, who's sneaking up on the pegs. 3 deep the Falcon Strike, and then Chivalrous Fella Home for Christmas. Lead time at 37.9. The first quarter at 29. So it's been solid down the straight. 900 out in the APC. Tricky Vic for Reed about a neck on Buck the Odds. A length off and 3 wide. Digger of Fortune. The hard ball gets sweating on a run. Valiant Soldier between horses. They got a breather there. 30.9 that quarter the half in 59.9. Joe Fess up and running now out 3 wide around back in a Falcon. Along the inside is Boy Jones, followed by the Falcon Strike following Joe Fess. Home for Christmas sprinting quickly out 4 wide. Hall's got to go now or he'll get trapped. He does. He pushes him 5 wide, then Flashing Red and Chivalrous Fella. It's a changing scene at the 400. They went down the back in 29.4. Tricky Vic headed by Buck the Odds, who's run a race. Joe Fess chimes in 3 wide. 4 deep, the Falcon Strike. He's starting to warm to his task now. And then Valiant Soldier right off the course, Flashing Red. And then the hard ball get coming to the turn. Joe Fess had reached the lead, joined by the Falcon Strike. It's the Falcon Strike and Joe Fess coming together. The champion has reached the lead. He's reigning supreme again. The Falcon Strike drawing away. It's another extraordinary Grand Circuit win. He beats Joe Fess third off Flashing Red flew. It's in a photo with Valiant Soldier. Close up behind those was Boy Jones, and then Tricky Vicky knocked up, followed him by the hard ball get, and then Chivalrous Fella well out of a Digger of Fortune. Back in a Falcon, well astern from Home for Christmas, and Buck the Odds. He ran a good race, although he's pulled up towards the tail of the field. And what more can you say about this horse? 28.5 the last quarter, the last half in 57.9. He is an absolute miracle. In the run, he just never really looked like he was in the race. He was immediately off the inside. Hall, he was making noises that he might go up onto the back of Tricky Vic, but that was never on. He got off the inside. He put about 4 behind him early. And as soon as a 3 deep runner came around the outside, he was immediately keen to get onto the back of that horse. But I think Joe Fess threatened to go in front of him and push him 4. So he reined back again, and the speed was a cracker up front. So he let them sort themselves out. He was sitting 3 deep at the back of the field. He didn't even bother to get into the 1 wide line. And then he took off 3 deep again about mid-race and had to go 4 wide down the back the last time. He was a mile from the leaders. But his acceleration just bloomed so very quickly as Joe Fess started to go in front of him. He pulled to his outside. He had him on the corner. And he just goes from boiled lollies to chocolates so very, very quickly, this horse. There's nothing he cannot do on a racetrack, the Falcon Strike. He's amazing in his flexibility as well as his talent. He has beaten Joe Fess. Flashing Red's another good run to grab third. Valiant Soldier's a lip away 4th, and Tricky Vic has weakened to run 5th. They've gone 157.3. You needn't really bother with race records in the Australian Pacing Championship because they've run in so many different states and various distances. But I can tell you that the only other horse who's gone that time over a distance around 2100 was Westburn Grant, who went 157.3 exactly the same time back in 1991. But it's not about times, it's about who's first home. And here he is again, folks. Make him welcome. This is your local champ. He is the star of the equine harness racing world, the Falcon Strike. I'll take a moment to say, in the absence of Baltic Eagle, and isn't it wonderful, he'll be back next week for the WA Pacing Cup as well, and to the reigning Grand Circuit superstar, Double Identity, who it has been notified tonight will be here for the Pacing Cup next week as the Falcon Strike goes for an amazing treble. The Fremantle Cup 1 week, the APC the next. Before all of that, the Celebrity Mile. He's won over 1740 from the mobile, 2900 from the stand and the back mark, and then 2140 from the mobile tonight. Different circumstances every time, and he just finds a way to win. Next week, 2544 from the mobile, so it'll be different again. The worst barrier draw he could possibly have got probably in the APC tonight was the one he did get. And he's won anyway. There's All Clear. He's a Bay in Tyre 6 Falcon Seals to Summertime Girl. For Messrs Van Rens, Manolis, Kay and Taylor be doing handstands again after this. Trained by G Hall Senior, driven by Junior. 48 starts. 29 wins, 8 placings, and earnings now getting to a colossal stage, around $687,000 for the mighty stallion, the Falcon Strike, who beat 6 Joe Fess. He was gallant in defeat. Trainer driver Darren Hancock, he could not be disappointed with his run, but the winner is just something out of the box. And third is 9 Flashing Red, trained by Carol Warwick, driven by Justin Warwick. Fourth is number 5 Valiant Soldier, trained by Noel Keeley, driven by Chris Lewis, and a very nice run from him as well. And fifth, number 1 Tricky Vic. He got put under a lot of pressure from Buck the Odds, and he weakened at the end, trained by Mike, driven by Mark Reed. Back in a Falcon, Never Likely, the hardball get appeared to have his chance, and really Home for Christmas made a sprint at them, but the rest were Never Likely at all. The winner and favourite and champion, the Falcon Strike, in the Be Active Australian Pacing Championship of 2004. And all clear is notified on 10, 6, 9, 5 and 1.
Okay, thank you for that, John. Yeah, great performance. And that first 4 dividend in New South Wales, 10, 6, 9 and 5, $623.20. 59.9 the first half, 57.9. Quarters of 29, 30.9, 29.4, then home in 28.5. They've rated 157.3, and quite elated Gary Hall and Gary Hall Jr. aboard Falcon Strike. The Falcon Strike taking out the Be Active Australian Pacing Championship in great fashion. Fantastic performance, and they love their champions over there.